So if you don't like this video, are you going to claim it?
I can't say that now. We haven't started yet. That depends how it ends.
Hello, insiders. I am Renee Ritchie, your friendly neighborhood YouTube creator liaison, and I am here with Dave Rosenstein. Dave, what do you do at YouTube?
So I am responsible for product for Content ID and copyright.
We're talking about creator music today, but I'm really interested in how did we get to creator music? Because you've been here since people press play. What is the story of music and creators?
When I started working on Content ID, the first question I would get every time I talked to any creator was, explain to me why it is that every time I use music, I lose all my revenue. Like, I made my video, I spent weeks working on it. I just use this one little bit of music and now all of the revenue goes to somebody else. How's that fair? So, I think that's really been the inspiration behind creator music from the beginning. And we're trying to think about how do we create an opportunity for creators to, get access to commercial music, some of the music that they listen to that they want to use, and also give an opportunity for the music industry to get access to our creators who have built such a strong following with their audience.
And just to make sure I'm clear on it, Content ID is the process whereby YouTube identifies the music or other rights that are in my video?
Yeah, so Content ID is this system that we use to allow rights holders to declare what they own. They send us reference material, so it could be visual or audio, and then we match that to content in uploaded videos. And then when we find a match, we go back, it comes to the rights holder's policy, whichever they configured to. Usually they monetize things. Sometimes, in some cases, they would block things. And the policies are pretty flexible and configurable. So you can have, like, if more than half of the video contains more than a quarter of my reference content, then do this, otherwise do that. It's a pretty flexible system.
As a creator, I always feel like I'm using your stuff, but I'm creating value. It's my video and you're in it and I'm sort of uplifting you. But the right holder is like, oh, you're using me to get value on your video. Like, we have just such different worldviews.
I guess there's two sides to that. One is there's exceptions to copyright where, content can be used without authorization. And in the US, that's mostly fair use. And outside the US, it's often fair dealing or other defined exceptions. And then you've got these other situations where you are building new content and you just want to use it to make your content more awesome, right? And that's really where creator music is sort of the beginning of that opportunity to say, like, look, we actually, both sides really do want to work together, and both sides can add value to each other, and that's kind of the win-win that we're trying to achieve.
As a creator, we also have a lot of anxiety because we might put this out there and then think, oh no, like maybe I didn't have the rights, or maybe I did, but now I have to make this assertive defense that it is fair. Like it's we want more dependability, more reliability. And
Absolutely.
To me, that's what it feels like creator music is solving for.
That's exactly right. So with creator music, we're really trying to come up with models that let you create a license between the creator and the music that it gives you that level of certainty. So in creator music, different tracks are available under different models, and under a license model, there's different license terms. And once you buy a track for a license term, you're set. You shouldn't have any other issues for the duration of that term. And at the end of that term, you would have the option to renew your license if you wanted to at that point. But you don't have this uncertainty as to, like, well, what might happen tomorrow if the rights holder who owns that song sells that catalog to somebody else who has a different opinion about what they want to do on YouTube, or maybe my video will go too viral and somebody would say that they would, that now they want to claim it.
And I love that there are different options because, like, it's a different value prop to me. Maybe I think I really want to use this song to the degree that I will give up, like, I'll RevShare or something. Or maybe it's like, I don't want to share my money because I think this video is going to be so big that I'm going to get a ton of money. So I want to get a fixed price license and not have to worry about it. And I'm sure, like, from rights holders' sides, they enjoy the flexibility too, because maybe they have preferences between rev sharing and licensing.
That's exactly right. And so, some tracks are available only under one license or the other. Some tracks are available with a little bit of both. In some cases, it might make sense to say, look, this is a video that I absolutely positively want to use this particular song. It means something to me. And RevShare license means that I will be giving up a fraction of my revenue for as long as that video is up, as long as that video is making money. And so that might end up being more money than the outright license purchase. But in some cases, that gives you access to content that you wouldn't have otherwise had access to. Trying to give put as much control in creators' hands to decide like what makes the most sense for their video and for the song that they want to use. And then make sure that if the model that they, if the song that they want is not available under the model they want, to try as much as possible to say, well, here are some things that might be also interesting.
Yeah,
giving proper tools to find other tracks.
If creators, like there are music creators as well, if they want to get in on the creator music action, how can they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a question I get all the time. The creator music is built on top of Content ID. And so the same way you get into Content ID and the same way is also the same way you get into any of the music streaming services. So, YouTube Music or any of the other ones is usually through a digital distributor or a label. And so those are the people who bring content to us, bring it to the music service and to Content ID. And that music can be opted into creator music through those distributors.
Awesome. So if you get into streaming, you can get into creator music.
Exactly.
Amazing. Where would you say we are on like the journey of creator music? I know it's been announced and rolled out in the US. And there's some track, but maybe not the exact track I want is available in like the place that I want it yet.
Yeah, and we're obviously very early on. We just launched to all of the U.S. monetizing creators in February of this year. We are very actively talking to pretty much all of the music industry. We have various degrees of progress on that, and so we're seeing new catalogs show up all the time. We're excited for some of the things that are coming up in the next few months, I hope. We're very excited to get beyond the US and to really open up in the rest of the world. Just want to make sure that we take the time to get all of the kinks worked out in a kind of with a smaller set of variables. And make sure that the product is working the way we want it, and that creators can understand it, and then adding in the complexity of going international.
I saw some creators wondering, can I use it if I have a sponsor spot in a video, or can I use it if it's a completely sponsored video? Like there's all these different edge cases that creators keep seeming to come up with.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a learning curve for creators, and there's a learning curve for us to figure out how do we easily communicate that so that we make sure that people understand. You absolutely can use it in videos that are sponsored as long as it's your video with a sponsor, as opposed to if you're making an ad, then the licenses would be different, and so we don't support that today. But if you're doing a video and you're sponsored by whoever and want to use creator music, that's totally fine.
Creators with licensing terms were never sure. Like, I'm going to license this. The license says it's going to be for a year. Is that track still going to be available? What's going to happen to my video? Am I going to have to like redo the video? Those sorts of things.
The way it would work is if you take a term less than perpetual, because the track you want is less than perpetual, you're set for that term. Price won't change, and no matter what happens between YouTube and that music industry partner, your video is fine. At the end of the term, you would have the option to renew the license. And if at the time you renew the license, the license prices they can be tiered based on the size of the channel. So if your channel has grown, it might be more expensive to renew that license at that time. But at least there should always be a path.
What are sort of the success metrics that you think about when it comes to creator music? Is it just getting the word out? Is it like adoption rate?
I want to see adoption. I want to see creators finding the music that they want. I think it's fine if it happens in all different terms. I don't, some of it is absolutely going to be free. I don't have a particular like revenue target in mind where it has to be at some level. I just want to make sure that we're doing, the best job possible to match creators and music up. So sometimes, that's going to mean a really popular track might be a little more expensive because that's what it takes. And if that's the right track for your video, then, I want to give you that option to choose it. And if you say, well, geez, that's just too much, I want to, give you fine. We have less expensive options. So for me, success is creators able to find the right music at the right price for what they're doing and getting momentum so that we are kind of breaking this history of the creators on one side of the dance floor and the music industry on the other, and not working together. Because I think this is where the magic happens, right? We've got just this huge opportunity, and that's where that's really the goal.
And where do you see creator music going from here? I know you've talked about international expansion. You've talked about catalog expansion. What about things like sound effects libraries, or a way to put people together for original compositions, or subscription services? Like I could just rattle off a dozen ideas now. What's the best way to like think about that?
I mean, these are all really exciting ideas, and obviously we want to hear creator feedback from people who are exploring the creator music service. Some of those things, like sound effects, are already in audio library, and that will definitely be coming across. Some of those other things, too soon to say, but definitely love to hear your feedback. So let us know.
So you know what to do, insiders. You just go right down there, you leave a comment, you ask a question. Thank you so much for watching. Dave, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And keep it real.
Keep it real.